This is Real Republican News, and I'm your host, Jason Mariner. If I sound a little bit off and look so, it's because I am. I've got a little bit of a cold today, so please forgive me for that. But we've got important stuff to talk about, so I wanted to come in, make this video, provide everyone with a little bit of insight and guidance and direction. So, we've got one of the most important elections about to take place in U.S. history, and that's the runoff elections for Senate in Georgia. Now, just to put things in perspective for you, we have people like Senator Kelly Loeffler running against people like Raphael Warnock. Now, Kelly Loeffler is a patriot. She's done nothing but serve this country her entire life. She's made a career out of it, and she's done great things for Georgians and the American people in general. And then we have Raphael Warnock, who, and if you don't believe me, this is very easy to find, but you have a man like him. We're not going to judge him based on his name, which Warnock, that kind of sounds like a Bond villain if you ask me, but we're not going to judge him on that because that would be wrong. What we are going to judge you on, Raphael Warnock, are the things that you say. And I have to spell it out because it's so disgusting I won't repeat it. But you've said G-O-D-D-A-M-N, America. That's right, you heard me. He said G-O-D-D-A-M-N, America. To me, Raphael Warnock has asserted his position and disliking and hatred for America as a whole. And now, somehow he winds up running for Senate. Now, in the old days, when things were run right, that would have been an automatic disqualification. You wouldn't have a chance of touching political office because those are treasonous words that you have spoken. Now, you're protected under the First Amendment because we have something called freedom of speech in this country. But what I don't think we have is freedom of speech where you can say GD America and then go run for a very powerful position within the American government. This is kind of like football players kneeling during the national anthem. Now, they play for the NFL, the N standing for national. You can't play American football and make millions of dollars in Canada because it's national, meaning American football. That's what makes you rich, yet you want to kneel for our anthem. Bunch of morons you are. Anyway, that was a little bit of a side note, I know. But the point is here, we're so far off the tracks, things are starting to look in certain places of America like they did during the onset of fascism in Nazi Germany. No, I'm not comparing our country to the Holocaust. No, I'm not comparing any leaders to Adolf Hitler. What I'm comparing is the fact that every time fascism, socialism, communism is installed in a society, it begins with the alteration or elimination of history, the removal of God from society, and then they start taking little pieces of your rights away to see if they can get away with it. Are you going to react? Are you going to revolt? Are you going to say no? Are you going to rise up? And that's what's happening. They're telling business owners they can't open the doors of their businesses they've spent their entire lives building. They're telling you you can't go to work in certain places. Now what we're seeing is mass exoduses from these states that are deep blue. It only creates a little bit of a problem though. A lot of those people that are fleeing places like New York from Governor Cuomo, they come down to places like Florida and they forget where they came from and they vote blue when they get here. Please stop doing that. We don't want blue policy here in our red states. Now, I've also heard about people abandoning the name Republican because there's so many disgusting politicians in office right now who call themselves Republicans. Now, they've gotten into office by lying to us. They've made campaign promises. They've convinced us they're going to do the right thing. Then when we elect them, they do none of them. President Trump is the only one that's actually fulfilling campaign promises. So, I say to you this, it's going to be the year that you allow them to take your freedom and the name of your political party. Because when I call myself a Republican, what I'm really calling myself is someone who believes in God, who believes in his country, who's patriotic, who would die for his freedom and the freedom of his children, who works hard, who helps his neighbor, who believes in God, Yeah, I said it multiple times for a reason. Who educates themselves on the history of this nation, who cares about things Like the U.S. Constitution, how many of you have a pocket constitution? I recommend you get one. Because if you read it, you'll see how far off the rails things have gotten. Now, Thomas Jefferson called it early on. He said the Constitution only works for a moral and God-fearing people. That's why they're trying to eliminate God from every aspect of public life. Now, being Americans, you may not have known this, but Americans by nature are rebellious. It was a rebellion that started America. A bunch of guys got together and said, hey, we don't like paying taxes and having the man's thumb over us all the time. It's ridiculous. We don't want it. And they got a bunch of guns together and they shot the British. We won and we became the greatest nation on earth. Now, we're not calling for violence. We're calling for unity. 74 million of us can't be ignored, silenced, or stifled. Now, how do we unite? Well, you can hit the like and share button on this video. If enough of you do that, we will have an exponential reach. And those 74 million people have a shot at getting together. That's what technology has allowed us to do. While we're doing that, we are building you a place, a platform, where you will be able to speak without fear of censorship, no matter what political party you are part of. However, it will be called Real Republican News. Emphasis on real and emphasis on Republican. Republican as it means to me, as I explained before, as it means to you. Because I know you feel the same way. Being a Republican is a proud feeling. We're honest, hardworking, God-fearing, country-loving people. That's what it means to be a Republican. Don't let them take that from you too. Don't let them take your freedom. Don't let them jeopardize the freedom of your children and the future of this nation. I say it's time we take it back, start writing our congressmen and women, and letting them know that if they continue to abuse us, the people, and send billions of our tax dollars overseas to other countries when we're in the biggest financial crunch and crisis of our lives, we're not paying taxes next time. How about that? It's kind of like when I was a kid. If I got allowance and I spent it all on something ridiculous, I probably wasn't getting allowance again. Well, you know what? That's what just happened with the American people. We gave them their allowance and they spent it on a bunch of ridiculous nonsense, like counting fish in the Caribbean to the tune of $300 million, or to Egypt to the tune of $1.3 billion. Imagine what that kind of money would have done for a city like Baltimore or Chicago. California, I don't even know where to start with them. All the money in the world's not going to fix California. I think we get a sawzall and cut them out and just let them float off into the ocean. They seem to want to be out there anyway. Anyway, I say this to you. Hit the like and share button. Save this country. Tell your friends about what's going on. Don't be afraid to say that you voted for President Trump. Don't be afraid to say that you're a Republican. Be proud. Fight back. Be rebellious. Find that rebellious spirit that makes you American and say, we're not going to take it anymore. And by the way, your congressmen and women are not as hard to get a hold of as you would think. I talk to mine all the time. I see them frequently. It's not a difficult thing. Email, snail mail, phone calls. They will return them if you do it enough. And again, 74 million strong can't be ignored. The voice is too loud. It's time to take it back. So I'll end on this note. Hit the like and share button. Tell people about Real Republican News. This will be a place where we will amplify your voice and deliver it to the world. Until next time, I say may God bless you, your families, and watch over this great country we call America. My name is Jason Mariner, and I thank you for watching. Be well, everyone. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget, it's a republic. Don't let anyone tell you